Welcome to another edition of Run the Tape. We are getting into one of the key glue players for the New York Liberty.
Betnijah Laney in for 2.
She doesn't necessarily get all the credit that she deserves, but her play has been a huge part of why the Liberty have been successful this season, including handing the Aces a 19 and 38-point L. Run the Tape is presented by AT&T 5G. Do you guys know how much of a compliment it is to be considered a glue player? Often is tasked with guarding the other team's best player, and she gets that team going in terms of defense. She's also shooting 38% from the three-point line, and she's found her way this year as a scorer amongst big-time stars and former MVPs, right? We're starting the tape talking about B's offense. The Rutgers product, former most improved player in the league, has been terrific in terms of cutting on the baseline this season. You're gonna see a whole bunch of these, but just look, she goes. Courtney Vandersloot, second in the league in assists, knows exactly where to find her girl. And she loves to finish with a little razzle-dazzle by way of a reverse layup. Great backdoor cut there by B, finishes with that right hand on the right side, gets completely behind her defender. Vandersloot pushing, same thing again, this time versus the Indiana Fever. But B gives you a little Euro step, y'all. Strong finish through contact on the left side. Whoop! Euro, give me that. Left hand, left side. It's a finish. Then out in transition, she's so great in the primary or secondary break and loves to cut across the lane. Again, coming from the right side, going to the left, finishing with that reverse that the crowd at the Barclays Center just loves so much. This time down though, secondary break, we talked about it, slowing her pace just a little bit. Watch the between the legs dribble as she explodes to go across the paint. That's Nia Coffey on her shoulder, who's a really good defender for the Atlanta Dream prior to her injury late in the season. Explodes through, able to finish. One more look. Through the legs, baby. And yes, indeed, practically a finish between two defenders as the help was closing out on her. Here, ball fake, and give me a spin dribble, why don't you? Right into the paint. Got a little twisted, a little too many more spins, but that's okay because the bank is open. There's so much room for air up on the glass. More people should use it consistently. This time, pick and roll action. She's got two options to go right or left. Stewie, JJ, pick your poison. What an embarrassment of riches. But now she's gonna attack, going to the right side, and then watch how she splits these defenders, y'all. The strength, the gather dribble, right between two defenders who cannot disrupt her that close to the rim. I mentioned her three-point shooting, so I'm gonna freeze it, because she stops at this corner where she has been terrific this season. The defenses have to play her honest. You come out trying to run her off the three-point line, she can get into her bag and attack off the dribble, as she does here, through contact. Looking at the ref like, where's the whistle? I think she had a point on that one. This time, again, be in the corner where she's lethal. Defense tries to run her off. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna get in here, jump stop, and again, an excellent use of the glass at a little bit of an awkward angle. When we started this tape, I mentioned that she is the head of the snake for everything that the Liberty do defensively, often guarding the toughest covers, not just at the guard position, but also mixing it up in terms of guarding 4s and 5s on occasion, depending on what the Liberty need. Coach Sandy Rondello has said that she wants Betnijah to push for a Defensive Player of the Year award. Kind of tough this year because the stats might not necessarily merit that, but you cannot deny the intensity that she brings on the defensive end. Let's take a look. We mentioned off the top that the Aces have suffered a 19-point and a 38-point loss at the hands of the Liberty. That doesn't happen without someone like Betnijah Laney and what she could do on defense. Guarding Chelsea Gray full court, 94 feet, baby. Harassing one of the greatest point guards in the league. She stays in front, she uses her feet and her length. Off the ball, right? She sees where the ball is. Kelsey Plum in textbook help position if necessary. Watch B move on the flight of the ball. Ball goes to the wing, she's right there, ready to contest either the jumper and then clearly guard the penetration. Here, the screen action. She draws the assignment of Asia, no big deal, she's not worried about it. But look how she's in perfectly sound fundamental position and the Liberty come up with a big time stop. Credit to this video, our lovely women's basketball community. Jackie Powell found this video. Here, a couple things you gotta know. Liberty were down 1 with the game on the line. Look at the clock, y'all. This is the last possession, potentially. Betnijah is guarding Kalia Copper, who we all remember from Chicago's championship run. She's great going to the rim. Watch the way that she keeps her just a step outside of the paint, right? The inches matter. Keeps her outside of that lane line and forces Kai into a very, very tough shot. The Liberty gonna want to win this ball game. Shout out to the defense. On this particular play versus Seattle, working in that double team off of the screen action, Sloot and B communicate excellent. Look who ties up this basketball and comes up with the stop. The Liberty were down big in this ball game. They had to make a plus 15-point comeback, and Jewell Loyd had been going off in the first half of this ball game. So what did Sandy Brondello do? Make sure that Betnijah Laney is now guarding the #1 scorer in the league in Jewell Loyd. Underneath the basket, face guarding her opponent, not gonna be confused by this screen action, this person running off, stays attached to Jewell Loyd, and then it's a textbook lock and trail as Jewell comes to that wing where she is just so nasty on the floor. All up in her grill on the catch, in front, using that hand, forcing her to her help defense, cuts off that baseline, allows Stewie to come and close that trap, the ball moves, Betnijah with the block out, and the defensive rebound. Not only is B great on the ball, but just her awareness in space. Her hands are always active, as we see here. Comes up with a deflection versus the Indiana Fever, and is able to gather the ball, push full court, and why shouldn't she be rewarded? Terrific defense on one side, leading to great offense on the other. All right, more heads-up defense from Betnijah. This ball is gonna go inside to Brionna Jones. She's in great position, but look at who her primary assignment is, DeWanna Bonner, who she gives up probably about 4 or so solid inches. DB is really, really tall, and she's a prolific scorer. She's had a 40-point game this season as well. B, because of her defensive prowess and high acumen, is able to take this gamble, poke this ball away from Brionna Jones, despite guarding one of the tougher scorers in the league, push the other way, and is able to finish. One of the most intriguing matchups all season has been the battle between the Aces and the Liberty. If that holds and goes into a postseason matchup, potentially for a WNBA title, Betnijah Laney's defense is going to be imperative to what the Liberty do. But it's not just her defense. As someone who helps space the floor and can attack in transition, she eases the pressure off of Stewie, JJ, and company. This episode of Run the Tape is presented by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.